There we go.
There
it
we
is.
go. Okay,
Oh,
that'll
hey,
be
that's
better.
better.
Now the people in the back row can hear.
The city council adopted the mixed use ordinance. They denied the rezone. And
The one that we sent up, that was just the 2 lots, right?
and what?
The one with just the 2 lots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just looking at and I think those were the only 2 things that they had from the planning commission meeting on the 14th.
Okay. Okay, item number 5, discussion and action regarding a preliminary site plan for a gas station convenience store at approximately 1900 West 2100 South for Agent Douglas Rooney for KG 2523. You here or online?
Joe is online.
Oh, Joe.
Oh, they need admitted.
Oh, we're admitting them now. Sorry.
It's nice of us.
Joe, can you hear me?
Says there's no mic.
Three. You here or online?
Yeah,
Yep, we can hear you. You're up for your item.
Alika, do you want to give a little bit of an introduction to
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, it's the preliminary site plan for, I believe it's our 4th come and go, corner of 1900 West and 2100 South. From planning perspective, everything for the most part checks out. The only thing that I would recommend is the parking stalls. They fall short of the 180 square foot minimum. Other than that, all I'm looking for is a will serve letter and just the final percentages of the elevations. Visually, it looks like it all checks out, and they're very similar to the rest of the come and goes, so I'm not too worried about that.
So how many parking stalls do they need?
No, it's just the net.
the dimensions?
Yeah,
Step back.
yeah.
Oh,
They're not big
I
enough.
think I think they're 9 foot width, which is fine, but they need to be 20 instead of 19, basically.
oh, okay.
One thing that I would add, just because I got this information from UDOT yesterday, and I don't think you're on their email list for the pre-app plans, and I need to get you on that list. They have met with UDOT because both 1900 and 2100 are UDOT access roads. They're not proposing an access onto 1900, which is good because we went through that whole thing a couple of years ago, right before I started. So none of UDOT's issues have anything really to do with the actual site. They won't affect the site. It's more related to just the asphalt improvements that they need to do in UDOT's right of way. So I looked over the notes, and there's nothing that'll affect how the site itself is laid out. It's the right-of-way improvements on the perimeter, and they don't have to expand anything, so it won't eat into the current site.
Okay.
Are they taking that road? Do they own that whole parcel that goes all the way through to 22? So they have access on 2100, right? That's where the entrance is.
Yeah.
And are they gonna expand that all the way to 2200 for entrance from 2200 South also?
So there's 3 lots. Excuse me. And this is part of the same subdivision plat that Hanan Equipment is on. And so there's the improvements that are going to be done it's not a full city right away. It's a private access that runs from 21 down to 22. And that's being jointly improved with Hanan and this. And they don't have another proposal for the other lot that'll be south of this convenience station. But the improvements are being done as these lots are being built out to that connection between 21 and 22.
Okay.
So,
Thanks.
so both of these driveways will enter out onto that same street or access road that they're
Yeah.
gonna build? Okay, thank you.
Joe, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm here. How's everyone doing tonight?
Okay. So, did you hear what Alec had to say about the width of or the length?
I did.
The length.
I did. Of the parking stalls, they're 9 by 19. They need to be 9 by 9 or 9 by 20.
Right. Anybody have any questions for Joe?
Just if he could keep the gas prices the same as what's on his rendering.
Or lower. Yeah, we're gonna hold you to that 338 and 339 on that signage there.
Wasn't that wonderful?
A question for Alika. You have a couple items in red on the minimum yard setbacks, one for the front, so you have at 165 and one for the side at 120. Why are those in red?
It's probably just an editing error.
Okay. You said something about not meeting 180. A little bit ago, what was that about? I missed it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You said something wasn't 180 and it was 165. Was that in regards to this or at the very beginning?
No, I was talking about the parking stalls.
The park stalls themselves.
It's a square
The square
footage of each.
footage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
gotcha.
180.
The other stuff that was in red, that stuff she highlighted for me when she sent it to me to look at, and I forgot
Ah.
to change it back to black.
So I have no problem blaming Sherry for that. That's
Yes.
fine.
No, you can blame me.
In the packet, there's like 4 blank pages,
There is?
I noticed
There
that.
should
Yeah,
be.
there is.
and
Oh, yeah, there is.
I think the problem for me is I don't get to see
Um,
the actual elevations and the measurements on the buildings.
I'm guessing the blank pages, this was two-sided scans, and it scanned blank pages in.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's a little hard for me to take somebody's word if I don't have, I really like to look at the plans to know how tall the buildings are to make sure they're compliant, those sorts of things. So it,
They do need to provide the breakdown of the materials, and that's, I mean, Alika has said that.
well, I was talking about the heights, not necessarily the materials. I just don't,
He wants to look at the elevations.
yes.
Right. How many
I can share my screen if that would help.
Well, it might take me a little long to review it, so I don't know that it's gonna be that much help, Joe.
Have you already got the elevations out?
Yes, I looked at all of that.
Okay.
So, height-wise, are they okay?
Yeah, everything's good.
So, as far as the elevations go, is it similar to the other stores they have coming?
Yeah, they are. And
Yeah,
like-
identical.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Alka.
You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a bistro store, which is identical to the store number 2515, which was at 3,500 and 4,000. That was approved last month, so it'll be the same as that one.
That's the larger one, isn't it?
It's the smaller one, the smaller. The
What's
first
the larger
one,
What's the larger one called?
a marketplace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is, which was 2512, which was further down 4,000. That was the
Right.
first one you guys
Yeah.
saw.
2512 is 4,000 and 4,700. 2515 is 4,000 and 3,500. 2519 is Hinkley and Midland, and this one's 2523. It only took me a year, but I finally remembered what the stores were.
You and me both, Sherry. I think I got them down.
My only objection is this one's closer to my house, and so it should be a market one instead of a
That's
bistro.
what I was thinking too. Denied.
You still get food. There's just not as much indoor seating as in this one as a marketplace, but they
Oh, they have
the
the same
same.
same food, you say?
Yep, all the same offerings,
Oh, okay, okay, then I'm okay then.
just not as much indoor seating.
That's what my vehicle's for, right? I drive a
And
lot.
before the question comes up, I still don't know anything new about Maverick acquiring Come and Go.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my next question. Good.
That's a common one at every planning commission meeting.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
Ready for a motion?
I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recommend, are we recommending or just approving here?
We can grant.
Grant approval?
Planning Commission is the approval authority for both the preliminary and the final site plan for this project.
There we go. I recommend that we grant preliminary site plan approval of the site plan for a gas station convenience store located approximately 1900 West, 2100 South for the applicant KG 2523 LLC. Subject to the following conditions: that prior to final approval, the applicant will provide to the city the following: a will-serve letter from Bonavista Water and finalized elevations showing the distribution of architectural materials across the building to ensure compliance with the design criteria.
I'll second.
You want to add the 20-foot parking in there?
Oh, and that the parking stalls be redesigned to be 20 foot in length and 9 feet in width.
I'll second, yeah.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to grant preliminary site plan approval for a gas station convenience store located at 1900 West, 2100 South for KG 2523 LLC, Agent Douglas Rooney, with the conditions that they provide a will-serve letter from Bonavista Water and that they give us finalized elevations showing the architectural materials across the building to ensure compliance with the design criteria, as well as making the parking spaces 9 by 20 feet long. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hey,
Okay. You've got preliminary site plan approval, so
All right, thank you.
thanks, Joe. All right,
See ya.
item number 6, discussion and action on preliminary site plan for a car wash located at 3600 South and Midland Drive, applicant Olympus Pines, agent Wade Edwards. Someone here for that? Come on up.
Good evening, Commission members, and thank you for your time tonight. My name is Michael Cinelli. I'm one of the owners and operators of Olympus Pines, and we primarily build and operate Tommy Express Car Wash. I'm here with my partner Trevor Sperry and Wade, our engineer. I figured I'd take 2 minutes to introduce us, and then I'll kick it over to him for the more important technical questions. But yeah, this will be the second car wash that we've developed in this area. We have currently one operating down in Layton, Utah. We invite any of you guys to come and take a look and see how we're different than a lot of the others that you may have seen. But just quick high-level things. We invest over $1 million more in ours than really the next best competitor, and that allows for faster throughput, better guest experience, and really a better environment for our team members to work in. We are really big on investing in our team and investing in their development and really helping them grow. And again, I'm a former Navy fighter pilot, and now I wash cars, but obviously there's a lot of parallels of getting young people to work together as a team, do preventative maintenance, follow checklists, things like that. But really with that culture that we're building shows and the quality of what we put out. Again, take a look at our Google reviews, at least the one down in Layton. I think last I checked, have about a 4.8 review, and the guests seem to love it, and our employees really love to work there. So happy to answer any questions that you guys have on the facility or how things work.
What was the name again? You said it too fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's called Tommy's Express Car Wash. It is a Tommy's Express.
Tommy's Express.
Yep, it's a franchise location. There's about 160 nationwide, and we are franchisees. We currently own and operate 8 of them. And like I said, the one in Layton is the first one in Utah, and this will likely be the second.
So it's like a full service car wash. The car goes all the way through it, that kind of thing.
Correct, yeah. And again, I'll try to cut myself off, but if you guys ever get the chance to take a look at pictures, it's pretty slick. Rather than kind of that chain and roller that most car washes have where somebody has to guide you and put your tire in that little thing. Ours is just like a moving sidewalk in an airport. You put your car on there, it takes you all the way through. Allows us to do a wide variety of cars, dual-wheel trucks, low-riding sports cars. So it really is, it's a state-of-the-art facility.
Is it like a membership, like a monthly
Yes,
symbol, like
yes.
some of them?
Yes, ma'am. Yep, correct. And again, ours is it's very cool. Everything is run on an app, so you really, if you want, you can start at your house, type your license plate in on your app, put your info in there, and then everything will just open up for you when you get there. So it's pretty slick. All right, yeah, I'm happy to answer any other questions if things come up, but I'll go ahead and turn it over to Wade for the technical stuff.
Okay.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Wade Edwards with Focus Engineering and Surveying, and I'm here just to answer any of the engineering and technical questions on the site plan or anything that I can help you with if you have any questions.
I just have a question about, I was looking at the location of the vacuums, and I'm trying to remember when I go to car washes how loud they are, just because I know there's a residential home nearby.
Typically, like the loudest part is where the vacuum equipment would be located. So we would locate that closer to the building and the tunnel and off from the residential side.
Right, because you have just the tubes and all that out
Yeah,
there for
so
people
it
to
would just be
use,
the
right?
tube. So wherever your vacuum equipment, your suction pump is, that would be the loudest area. So we would locate that farthest away from adjacent to residential.
So what is I'm looking at the zigzag. Is that vacuums or is?
Those are like the arches where you pull down the hose and vacuum out your car.
Okay.
That's what that
Yeah, that was my
represents.
question, is how loud those are, because those are on the west side and on
Right.
the east side.
That would just that would be a lot quieter.
real quick
Yeah,
on that.
go ahead.
Yeah, we can actually, we're happy to provide noise studies if you guys like. What I can say is, again, if you go to our one in Layton versus you come to this one, it's kind of an older model. These are new vacuums. The noise is considerably reduced. We've taken that into consideration. And then, our planning hours will be closed at the latest by 8 p.m. And so, again, it should be quiet after that if people are trying to sleep. And so we don't really get many people vacuuming in the morning. So, again, typically we haven't run into problems where we've been up against residential areas in the past.
Okay, thank you.
What's the overall height of the building? I'm looking at,
Yeah, 128. Right. Yeah. 28 feet.
28 feet. How many feet are defined in a story? Do you know?
Sorry, what's
Because
that?
you said you've got it for one story, right?
Yeah.
So how many feet are in a story?
So the tallest part is the tower of the building, and so that's the 28 feet, and then 20 feet is like the average.
The only document I have in front of me that tells me the height of the building says it's 128 feet tall, which
So
is
architectural-
like 10 stories if I,
Architectural starts at elevation 100 and then goes up from there. So 28 feet.
oh, they started,
Yep, that's how they define building heights. Man, architects are weird.
so.
You said that on the record, so.
Yeah.
Well, engineers are weird too, I can say.
Another engineering question, how does a dually make that tight turn to get into the car wash?
So there's different turning radiuses, and we can definitely verify that and go through it on AutoCAD and provide turning radius through final approval and make sure.
'Cause that's pretty
So
close
have
to
you
a
have you
360.
done that for like a big truck?
Yeah,
It
I've
can
done
make-
that on multiple car washes where we do turning radiuses, and usually it's about 28 feet. So
And this one's a pretty standard layout that we've used at other sites, and dualies have no issue. We design them for that way.
There's a lot of trucks out here.
yeah.
Because I can't even get through the fizz with a regular truck, so.
Yeah, that one's tricky.
Come to Layton and try us out.
Okay. I also noticed you're trying to get a driveway from UDOT out onto Midland.
Correct, and we've already met with UDOT and had a pre-application meeting with them, and we're meeting their requirements to line up with the adjacent access across the street, and there will be a shared access with the adjacent parcel.
Which is
So-
adjacent partial, I'm sorry.
There's a parcel that accesses the access onto Midland that you're referring to, there's a parcel that already accesses off of that. And while UDOT won't give these guys a new access onto Midland, that access will be improved so that it can be shared. The existing access will be improved so that it can be shared between these guys. There's actually a project that's coming in to talk to staff tomorrow that's going to go on the other parcel that accesses this property, or nope, that this access uses, that's going on that parcel. And so we do have information back from UDOT that with some a little bit of improvement to that access, it'll be sufficient to serve both this project and the project that's coming in off the existing access.
That's the driveway where the Royal Blue House is located?
Yeah, I believe that house is going to be torn down.
Okay.
Is it a right in and left out of there?
Okay.
I just know how fast people are going. I'm just curious. For UDOT,
I think it'll have to be a right in, right
Right in,
out. I
right
think
out.
that's one of the stipulations on UDOT. Similar to the convenience, this is actually shaping up to be a nice commercial corner. Similar with the convenience store that's going in on Hinckley and Midland that are limited to right in, right out. I think that's what UDOT is doing on properties all the way around their major intersections, just because of the volume of traffic. And with this one, with how close it is to that light, it would be really hard to make a left-hand turn out onto Midland.
That's what I was thinking.
So, yeah.
I think it either is right in, right out, or a 3/4 movement. You might be able to make a left turn in, but not a left turn out.
And looking down the road, as we were kind of discussing in the workshop meeting, how will road widening impact this entrance at some future point? Potential road widening.
At this point, we don't know. We know that there's enough dedication on the site plan to handle any improvement, any widening that may have to happen. This is close enough to the intersection with UDOT that it would have to be a joint effort if that intersection were to be completely rebuilt. That would be something we would have to deal with down the road. But where we don't have any plans that are laid out like that, we can't hold these guys to anything.
Okay.
Because we don't know. We have to just look at it as they've presented it.
He's talking about 3600 South, I believe,
Gotcha.
right?
I'm sorry. Yes, the widening there. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Potential widening there. I know.
yeah, we just went to right of way, and we do show improvements in our discussions with Sherry. She said there's some talks of improvements, but nothing solid yet. So right now, we're just showing frontage improvements that would be on our front our property.
That little piece that's left over there, do you have any plans for that one?
Not in the short term, no.
How much land is there, do you, approximately?
I think it's about half an acre.
Okay.
Do you have any plans for improvement? I mean, not improvements, but landscaping of some sort for that?
Yeah,
Large
right now
parcel.
we show native grass and seed in that area just in case any future improvements were to come in, that it wouldn't be fully like landscaped with trees and all that.
Right.
They'd have to just rip out.
Yeah, we do focus a lot on landscaping of our sites, and we want them to be, attractive inside and out. And it's all part of our, we believe, the guest experience. If you go through a clean car wash, your car feels clean, you feel clean, everybody wins. So that's one of the big things that we don't skip on.
Okay. Thank you.
Is this color scheme pretty much what you do
The red.
that are on the
Yeah,
drawings?
typically this is our primary color scheme, the red, with this metal paneling. We have some other options we can look at. We've done sometimes blacks, but like I said, this is our primary prototype.
No, I think it looks good.
Yeah, if you go down to Layton, this is what you'll see as well.
I have a question, Sherry. It says under staff recommendations, update the dimensions of the parking stalls. Is that for this one as well? Like, I know that was for the come and go.
Alika can speak to
Okay,
that. She
I'll-
did the site review
Okay.
on this.
I just didn't know that. I just thought the
Nope.
parking stalls were kind of for the.
Yeah, she can
Okay.
speak to that.
So yeah, it's the same thing for this one too. I believe this one, the length is 18 feet. I think come and goes was 19, but
Yeah.
yeah, it would have to be updated to 20 feet to accommodate that 180 square foot.
So the parking stalls for the vacuums? Is that, I'm just trying to figure out where parking stalls are.
I think all
For the
of them are
employees?
measuring the 18.
Okay.
So you got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a little awkward.
It's got some parking up here too in the
And
entrance.
probably for the employees,
Yeah.
I
At
guess,
the
because I was
bottom too.
thinking,
Bottom left.
Yeah.
okay, there we go.
For those long bed dualies, you know, they gotta have space to vacuum. Not stick out.
Yeah, if you also notice, there is a 30-foot drive aisle too, so there's a lot of extra room in there, so not really concerned on getting the extra couple feet
Okay.
on each side. We have plenty of room in the drive aisle.
And yours is Taylor West Water that you need to get the will serve letter from, so. Our city's split up among different water companies, so.
And then just to step in, as far as the signage plan, I mean, when they apply for a building permit, I'll have to look at that anyway, make sure it complies with our standards. So I'm not too worried about that.
Any other questions? Okay.
I'll make a motion if we're ready. Anybody
And
else?
make sure you look at the city's light ordinance too, and make sure you comply with that,
Okay.
the lighting.
Yeah, we'll provide a photometric plan, of course.
Do we
Okay.
need to add the landscaping in the motion, or just what is under staff recommendation?
We don't have a landscape plan yet?
No, we do. It just wasn't in the packet. That'll be my fault. I did look at one and I did review that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it looks good, is what you're saying in the
Yeah, they
packet.
comply with everything.
Go ahead.
Should I make a motion? Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant preliminary site plan approval, subject to, prior to approval, that the applicant shall get a will serve letter from Taylor West Weber Water District and update the dimensions of the parking stalls.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to grant preliminary site plan approval for a car wash located at 3600 South of Midland Drive for Olympus Pines, agent Wade Edwards, with the condition that they get a will serve letter from Taylor West Water and update the dimensions of the parking stalls to meet city code. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
2 nays? 4 ayes? Okay, you have your preliminary approval. Okay, item number 7, discussion and action on a preliminary and final plat for a commercial subdivision located at 3100 West, 4000 South for CW Land Company. Someone here for that? Come on up.
Thank you all for your time tonight. I'm McKenna Christensen with CW Land. I have the next 2 agenda items with you. They're both for preliminary and final plat. This first one is at our Salt Point development on 4000 South. We would like to carve 2 commercial plats or lots out of the existing around 5-acre lot that's currently sitting there and install road improvements so that we may have these pads ready to sell to tenants.
Okay. Any idea what will go on them?
So the lot 1, the hard corner, we are currently negotiating a purchase and sale agreement with Panda Express. Lot 2, we've been talking to a few tenants, but we haven't had anything in writing.
Okay. What did you say down there?
Said something about Chinese food.
Oh. It's gonna make you fat, is that what you're saying? Any questions for her on this? Staff have any concerns?
No, they actually don't have to do any coordination with UDOT on this, even though it's adjacent to 4,000, because the access is already there. The road hasn't been built through, but when Salt Point came in, they were not the original owners of the property. I don't think. Anyways, when Salt Point originally came in and had that area designated for commercial, the original developers of that whole project were required to coordinate with UDOT to have the road cut. So there's no coordination with UDOT that has to be done. I don't have any issues with it. Since it's commercial, they don't have the setbacks and minimum lot sizes and things like that that a residential project would. So on a staff level, there's not any issues with it.
So this is currently already zoned for C3 then?
For C2, yeah,
C2?
yeah.
Okay, why am I seeing C3?
That's just a typo. This is C2. C2 is all along 4,000,
Okay,
isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Or
Yeah, I
is there
see where
part
you
of
saw
it that's
that.
C3? Oh. Either way, there's no rezoning that has to be done, and it's suitable for this kind of uses, because everything you can do in C2, you can do in C3.
okay.
So,
It meets the general plan. I mean, I'm assuming it meets the general plan. We're already in C2 there for the general plan.
well, it's already zoned that, so there's not really anything with the general plan that has to be factored in with this project.
No, it's just dividing that plat off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just subdividing.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to grant approval of a preliminary plat. What, number 7?
Preliminary and final?
And a final plat for a commercial subdivision located at approximately 3100 West, 400 South, applicant CW Land Company agent McKenna Christensen.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to grant preliminary and final plat for a commercial subdivision located at 3100 West, 4000 South for applicant CW Land Company agent McKenna Christensen. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Item number 8, discussion and action on preliminary and final plat for a commercial subdivision at 3275 West, 4000 South.
So this is also at our Salt Point development. This lot is just west of the extra space storage unit, right in between the extra space and the apartment complex right there. The intention here is there's 3 different parcels, some strange parcel lines currently where this sits. So we just want to clean this up, put it into one lot so that we can attract some tenants here.
Okay. Any issues from staff on this one?
Alika, did you have anything?
Okay.
Yeah. What they're doing is really similar to what they did for Come and Go on the corner of Hinckley and Midland, just combining it back into one parcel.
Okay. Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay that we just said approve the final, right? Even though the city council has to we recommend it.
You probably do need to go back and redo that one. I would finish with this
Right.
Okay.
and then go back and on the previous one,
Okay.
correct the motion.
So you can
But
give
finish this
one?
first and then go back and
you
correct
can give
that one.
preliminary, we recommend final. So,
Got it.
okay, do I have a motion on this one?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant approval of the preliminary plat and recommend final plat approval to the council for the subdivision location at 3275 West, 4000 South.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to grant preliminary and recommend final plat approval for a commercial subdivision located at 3275 West, 4000 South for applicant CW Land Company, agent McKenna Christensen. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, let's go back to item number 7. You want to restate your motion?
Yeah, I can't remember what I said, but I'll make a motion to grant approval.
Hang
of a-
on one second.
Oh.
We need to make sure you do. Do they need to do a motion to amend the prior motion?
Oh,
Okay, thank you.
Because the motion was
yes,
made and voted on.
passed.
So I'm gonna let the attorney tell you how you have to do it.
You
You
have,
were doing a fine job. So yeah, you just need to make a motion to amend the last motion.
So I'll make a motion that we amend the motion made for item number 7 on the agenda.
I'll second.
What is your motion
Yes.
to amend?
Oh, you gotta
No,
make,
just that we amend. Oh, so are we doing like two full? Do I just make the motion to amend it, or do I list the whole thing for the amendment?
You've already amended it. You just
All right.
go-
The immediate
So-
prior motion, it's the one before.
You need to make a motion to amend the motion on on the on item number 7, the approval of amended preliminary and final plat. And then you need to make, after you vote on that, then you need to make a new motion that is
Okay.
Okay,
asking to
That's what I figured.
approve the amended plat, the amended preliminary plat, and recommend approval to the city council for the
Yeah,
final
got
plat.
it.
That's what I was thinking.
okay, so I have a motion and a second to amend the prior motion from item number 7. All those in favor
Aye.
of amending that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now you can amend the motion, right?
Yes.
okay, I'll make a motion. Do I have to say amend?
No.
No, I can just go forward, right?
Yes, just go forward.
To grant approval of a preliminary plat accordingly and recommend final plat approval to the council for a commercial subdivision located at approximately 3100 West, 4000 South, applicant CW Land Company.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to grant preliminary and recommend final plat to the city council for a commercial subdivision located at approximately 3100 West, 4000 South for applicant CW Land Company, agent McKenna Christensen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I think we did it
Awesome.
right
Thank you
that
for all the
time.
motions.
Do we need to make an motion to admonish the commission member made the mistake?
Off there. I didn't know
No?
this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, item number 9, discussion and
It's not
action.
on the agenda.
Okay, fair enough.
There's that.
Discussion and action on a conditional use permit for a commercial daycare located at 3500 West, 3300 South for Dora Bugarin. Did I say your name right?
Mugarin.
Bugarin?
They
How do
can't
you say your
pronounce it
name?
in Spanish. It's Bugarin, but it's Dora Bugarin.
Bugarin. Yeah, I can think of like 6 ways to say that, really, so.
Sorry.
right.
For the last meeting too, we weren't prepared. This is our first time actually doing this, so, and I wasn't in town, so sorry about that.
Yeah, so you're doing just a daycare then, not a preschool?
Well, what we want is actually a preschool slash daycare.
Okay.
And the reason why we have the slash daycare is we want to provide before school and after school program for Kingsville Elementary.
Okay,
And by the state, they told us we're required to have a licensing for childcare, not just preschool, if we're gonna provide that.
right, okay. Yeah. I actually, interestingly enough, dropped off my grandkids at a preschool and picked them up. And so I learned a little bit about dropping off and picking up at a preschool daycare. So it's not as bad as I thought it was. It wasn't quite as chaotic, and it was, yeah.
Not like an elementary, I guess.
No,
That's
no,
the
much,
concept.
much better. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it wasn't, yeah. So the parking, I guess, isn't as big a concern to me as it was before after having had that experience. So, but still, it would be good if you had some, dedicated spaces at least for you.
And we did. I spoke to Justin, which I actually have him on the phone. He was here and he had to
Yeah,
leave.
I saw him.
Yeah, so he just asked me to put him on the speaker in case you guys had more questions. He actually told me we are 6 spaces is what he's providing for us. And then I'm not too sure, he wants to do also a sidewalk behind the building, which could also be used as a drop-off. So we could have like an employee or whoever to kind of receive the kids as they're dropping them off on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I actually spoke to the state when she came in to check the building. She says that's perfectly fine, as long as there's a sidewalk for the kids to walk, then it's,
So that's from 3,500 behind the building, west of the building?
Yes.
So they could drop off there?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
and
Yeah.
Justin says he's gonna actually put a sidewalk through there and a walkway, I guess, around the building. So.
Because
that
you're
would
on
be-
the last one, right, to the north?
We would be actually.
last two?
Second
A
to
little
the
bit,
last,
okay.
yeah. We did want the last one, but I guess there's an accounting there, which he probably is not gonna like that there's a preschool right next to him. Because he probably chose that space because of no noise.
Yeah, but let Justin deal with that, right? That's his problem.
Oh, okay.
So if I understand it correctly, I know there's already an existing sidewalk, but there's this large culvert for collecting water. Where is this sidewalk that's gonna connect to the building?
Justin,
Because
did you
have to
hear that?
Cross over the piping?
No.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I could put you.
Sure, you wanna bring him up
Yeah.
here or put him in front of a speaker? Okay, I was over there today and there's a large culvert directly behind the building, between that and 3,500, which is the sidewalk. So I guess
Yeah,
my,
so we're going to be putting the sidewalk to the north of that. There's 20 feet of access space between where the detention pond, not a culvert, but a detention pond exists. We're going to be to the north of that, connecting onto the sidewalk up front, running parallel east to the side of the building, and then tying onto our existing sidewalk that's already there in the project.
okay, is there still gonna be a location for daycare kids?
Is there going to be what?
Outside location for daycare kids?
Oh, well, we're gonna provide whatever the state requires them to have that. It won't be on that side of the building. It's going to be further into the project behind the third building, where there's some fencing. There's going to be a fenced area. It's going to be more secured for the kids. We're not going to put them up to the front edge of that building and be okay with it. We're going to tuck them back in the back of the project further. So it would be along the fence line of the north side of the project.
Commissioner Reed, is your concern making sure that there's not a danger of the kids falling into the culvert when it's got water in
Well,
it? Is that what you're
absolutely,
trying
not
to
to
picture?
mention,
Yeah.
currently, there's nothing but walking
Right.
over a dirt pipe
Right.
to be able to get to the sidewalk. So when
Right.
I'm reading about this, yeah, of course, it's a safety
Yeah.
issue when it comes to the kids.
Yeah. So,
Not
okay.
where the kids are going to be crossing. That's actually going to be for the flower shop. She wanted that sidewalk there. We're going to go to the north end. You're talking about the south end of the second building, or in between the two buildings. That's not where this access, the second access, is going to be. The second access for the kids is going to be on the north side of the building.
Right, yeah, no, I understand it now that you explained it to me, so I appreciate that.
Great.
Yeah, anytime we have, that's a really good question to ask, because anytime we have something, especially with kids, and there's an open water issue, we will make sure that either there's fencing so they can't get in it, or, yeah, we'll make sure that we look at those things.
And the state will come back out, and once everything's they'll come back out and tell us, okay, you gotta do this for the safety of the kids, or, So they give us, I actually have a big list of stuff that we have to do prior to even.
And I'm not trying to be in your way, but
No,
at the
no, that's
last
fine.
meeting, it mentioned preschools are requiring a schedule of classes and a number of kids. So I haven't seen that in the staff report, so I
Well,
just.
the state will dictate that. I mean, I think the
At
schedule
the last
we wanted-
meeting, we were talking about 35 kids in, because I know Natalie was really concerned about
Yeah,
all
she
that.
was,
We
but-
had too many kids and not enough
But the
space.
state will completely dictate
Yeah.
that,
The
how
state
many
will-
they can have, and
Well, I was just concerned about, I guess my question's more to do with the overlapping of the preschool and the daycare and how many kids end up.
but the state will be all over that.
take care of
too.
all that too.
Yeah, I think that schedule was something, I don't think that schedule is required as part of the conditional use for this. I think that's
No, we were
required by
just
the
worried
state.
about parking and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
I think with 3,500 and having that sidewalk, I think that solves all the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't have any issues with it now.
No, I don't either. I mean, as long as the sidewalk's safe for the kids to come by, I'm good.
As long as nobody's dropping off on the west side of 3,500 and kids walking across. But I think if you
Yeah.
have that designated, that'll be really convenient and decrease the congestion in
Well,
the
and-
parking lot.
And the daycare or the preschool I dropped off at, you had to walk your kids in because you had to enter a code
Yeah.
that showed that they were there. And so that was really cool. And you had to enter the code to pick them up too.
So you had to park?
So you had to park and you had to walk them in with, holding their hands, which is safer than just sending the kid on their own.
Yeah.
So you got ample parking on 3,500 right there. And it takes literally like 2 minutes to drop the kid off and go.
Yeah.
And then other parents were coming, or grandparents, whoever, were coming, and it was it wasn't like elementary school at all. It was pretty smooth actually. So yeah.
Well, thanks for doing your homework.
Yeah.
Field trips are really useful.
So, and that was here in West Haven too, a different daycare. So, yeah. And their parking lot's a lot smaller. So I don't think there'll be an issue. So
Said their parking lot was smaller and they still.
the one that I went to, yeah.
Okay.
And less road parking too. So anyway, anybody else have any questions?
I think it looks great.
Okay. You lucked out that I had that experience, I guess.
We should do that for homework class.
Yeah, because my only other experience before that was elementary school with the
Elementary,
kids
yeah.
when they were little, and that's just pure chaos. And everybody only sees their kid, and it's just scary. But yeah, this was much better. So yeah, if you do that code entering in thing, I thought that was pretty slick. So anyway, do I have a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we recommend approval for the conditional use permit for the
No,
daycare.
You would grant it.
Oh, well, it says here recommends. Staff recommends approval, so we will grant a conditional use permit for the commercial daycare located at 3,500 West, 3,300 South, providing that they get appropriate licensing from the state to run the daycare / preschool and make sure there is a fence in place for any outdoor area where the children will be.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to grant a conditional use permit for commercial daycare located at 3,500 West, 3,300 South for applicant Dora Bugarin, with the condition that they get their state licensing and that they have fences for any outside activities for the kids for safety. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Well, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
thank you.
Thank you.
And teaching the chairman Spanish. Very kind of you.
All right. Discussion, item number 10, discussion of updates to the West Haven City subdivision ordinance.
So it looks like the draft that we were going to look at on the 28th did not get into your packet, so we can do a couple things. We talked about it in the work session. I gave you guys the broad overview, the reasoning behind the changes. You can just take that and look at the draft that I gave you that we were going to have on the 28th. And we don't have to have any discussion on it tonight. If you did look at it and there are specific questions you want me to try and answer, we can do that. Or you can just take what I talked about in the work session. I'll send you the slides so you have the links to look at stuff, and then we can just have a more substantive discussion on the 26th. Also, there will be cake on the 26th.
There will?
Is it your
All
birthday?
right.
My birthday's the next day. You brought cinnamon rolls last year because I had to do planning commission on my birthday.
Oh, wow.
But I'm fine with whatever approach you guys want to take. If I had to pick one, I would maybe encourage you to table it and just take what we talked about before and look at what I'm going to send you and then have a more productive discussion. Not that I don't love talking to you guys, but I don't know how productive it would be because you haven't fully digested and looked at what we talked about in the work session.
No, I learned a lot in the work session, so
Good.
I'd really like to digest it. So thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, you bet.
Appreciate
And I'll send that to you guys before I go home tonight.
Okay.
You probably said this in your email, so I apologize, but will next week's meeting be virtual as well? I mean, will it be
Oh, so
hosted
the thing with Wasatch Front Regional Council, that's only if you want to come to it. It's not an official planning commission and city council meeting. So just to reiterate what I said in my email, large portions, as we've seen with the subdivision ordinance and some other things, large portions of our zoning code have not been updated since the city first adopted a zoning code in 1992. We need to do, I don't want to say a total rewrite, but there are portions of our city code that, just the zoning code, not the whole thing, just the zoning portion of it. There are significant portions of our city code it's been a long day. It's been a long 36 hours. There are significant portions of our zoning code that need rewritten. Originally, I hadn't anticipated starting this until the general plan was completely done. However, several weeks ago, I happened to be sitting at my desk right when an email came in from the Wasatch Front Regional Council saying, hey, we've got this program that we're funding, zero cost to cities. If you want, we'll come in and do a review panel on your zoning code and tell you what needs fixed. And I thought we were going to have to hire somebody, like an outside law firm or something like that, with land use attorneys. I thought we were going to have to hire somebody to do a review. But Wasatch Front Regional Council, they have a review panel of 3 people, one of whom, if it's who I think it is probably the best person humanly possible to review our zoning code. I'm going to do a review too, but I shouldn't be the only one reviewing it for legal issues and areas where it's out of compliance. And so as soon as I got this email, I jumped on it and contacted Wasatch Front Regional Council about 5 minutes after I got the email and said, we want to do this. And we were the first city to jump on it. So reviewing our zoning code is their first priority for their review panel. This will actually be really good while we're doing some of these things related to the general plan, because then once they will probably end about the same time, and the goals and policies in the general plan, it'll be really nice because we'll have this comprehensive list of chunks of our zoning code that need updated. And then we'll be able to make those updates and use the recommendations and policies that have come out of the general plan to inform how we're going to update the ordinances that we've identified as needing updated. So they said that they wanted to do a kickoff meeting just with anybody that wanted to come. They said like 1 or 2 planning commissioners, maybe a council member. It's not, oh dude, I don't know who's going to show up to it, so I don't think we have to notice it as a public meeting, do we? Because it's not an official planning commission city council meeting.
But you might want to, I mean, depending on how many of the planning commissioners want to come, and how many city council members want to come, we may need to advertise it as a public meeting.
Just to cover
As a work
Self?
session, just in case
Okay.
anybody comes and there happens to possibly be a quorum.
We'll advertise it so we can create a Zoom link. There won't be minutes or anything like that. It'll just be a work session.
We'll just say the first 3 of you can come. The
Yeah.
4th one, if you see the other 3 there, has to leave.
Yep, run.
One there
No,
for rotten egg.
that's we probably should, just to cover ourselves in case we do end up with the quorum, because basically what Michaela wants to talk about is like, okay, what are the primary concerns of the city? And I mean, frankly, my thing's going to be, well, some of it's 30 years old and state law has changed multiple times over the years, and this just hasn't kept up. And I mean, there's, I'm as nitpicky, trust me, when I read stuff as with grammar as Jeff and Natalie are. I don't catch my own mistakes, but I'm really good at catching other people's.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, my dad was a professor, so it happens. And so there's just going to be a little bit of a discussion of process, areas of high concern for the city. Yeah, so it's at 4:00 next Wednesday. We're hard stopping at 4:45. I think council will have work session. Yeah, council has work session at 5, so we have to hard stop at 4:45. But any of you guys are welcome to come.
So is it gonna be on Zoom?
Yeah, we'll set up a Zoom link
Okay.
because we'll notice it as a work session.
So if there are four of us that show up, even like if 2 are on Zoom, 2 are in person, it's still a quorum.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Okay.
We'll just advertise it as a work session. So,
Okay. Because I would like to go, but I may be driving to Oregon
Yeah.
at that time. So
I mean, it's like I said, we'll advertise it just to cover ourselves in case, because we don't want to have everybody show up and then not have advertised it. I know at least 2 council members are going to come. But any of you guys are welcome to come. There's not going to be any recommendations come out of it. It's not going to be, we're already done, this is what you guys need to fix. This is Wasatch Front Regional Council who's going to be doing it. This is the Planning Commission and City Council. Everybody shake hands, make nice. This is going to be the process. This is how long we think it's going to take. But it's happening sooner than I thought it was going to. But I saw an opportunity to have some really expert land use people look at our zoning code and not have it cost the city anything.
Yeah, that's
Is there going to be any
fantastic.
cake?
Huh?
Cake? Is there going to be a cake at this one too?
No, because my birthday's the next week.
Well, pre-birthday cake.
There will be if you bring.
it's somebody's birthday next
I
week.
can bring cake. All right.
Yeah.
All right, item number 11. I have a
I'll
motion.
make a motion. We adjourn.
Second.
I
Okay.
have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.